What's going on, guys? Danny from Slow Restoration, and from the last video, or maybe a couple videos ago at this point, we saw that Bruce has passed away. So we have the chassis and we do have another body. I'm going to reveal that now, but I kind of already did back when I first got that thing. So let's just jump out. It's right outside here and reveal what we're going to do with that chassis now. The Chevy LUV, and I talked about doing this before, and a lot of people actually seem to like that idea. I think it's going to look way better. It's kind of nostalgic for me because, like I said, a family member had one of these with actually 44s on it way back in the day when I was a lot younger. So we have the short bed, we have the cab. Cab's actually not horrible shape. The bed's not terrible. These things rusted really bad. So as far as rust goes, this does have a little bit in, but we're not going to be so concerned with that. So I did locate a front clip that I have to go pick up, everything but a hood. So if anyone out there has a hood, I am looking. We'll go over to the chassis here. For right now, I'm just going to leave this junk 5.3 in there. It's totally trash. There's really nothing usable off of it because it heated up so many times and it's locked up tight. Does have a brand new starter on Steve put in before he realized it was actually locked up. So we do have a good starter we'll take off, and kind of the same deal with the 4L60. I'm not going to trust anything about it. And I think we have a different plan, but for right now, this will give us plenty of mock-up. Any LS will bolt in the exact same way. I think we may end up upgrading to a 4L80 that I have, but I'm not quite sure yet. But either way, they are a little longer and a little bit bulkier, but I think we'll be fine. For right now, I'm going to leave all these mounts on the frame because I know we're going to have to space up off the frame to make all this work. So I'm not going to take any of this off. Unfortunately, this one on that side is gone and missing. Who knows what happened to that. These outriggers that were put on with the cage, we're going to leave them on, and that little support there. I did actually have the bed sitting up on there. I didn't video any of that, but I sat it right on this support on the bed floor and kind of centered it up, and it looked really good. We'll see that soon enough, but let's go ahead and jump on the John Deere here and get this cab loosely in place up there, and we'll just see how it looks. We have it elevated up here. We're on the rocker over there and just on the floor pan here. This cab's pretty light, so you can see we do have a little bit of rust, but overall it's pretty solid, especially for one of these LUVs. So we'll drive carefully over top of the frame and start letting that down, seeing what's going to have to be modified. I think we're pretty good front to back. Might have to go back a tiny bit, but we definitely got to go in more. I'm going to go ahead and start letting down, and then we'll get off again and take another peek. Level it out here. Alright, so that's actually probably back a little bit too far, but I kind of would rather set it down and then slip it forward than have it hit everything and bind up. Left to right, probably a little bit too far now, but we're really close. Alright guys, we're underneath here. We're not under it, it's not going to fall on us, but I'm looking, and here's the factory body mount area right here, as you can see. And this pad, and I didn't plan this at all, it's pretty close. I think we might have to cut these off and move them forward a little bit, because as I showed before, I think the cab's actually a tiny bit too far back right now, which would make, if I took it back to make that line up, would make it way off. But that could actually work out really cool. we are hitting over there. So I think what I'm going to do is back up again and just jog it over, just so that that fork clears over there, and let this thing down here. Maybe put some blocks of wood here just to temporarily place it and level it, and we'll see how she's looking. All right, we did get it actually sitting on the frame with some blocks, and we're gonna have to readjust. We got enough motor engine clearance here. I wouldn't want a ton. I want it as close as I can without making it a pain to work on. It's a little high. I don't really want it that high off the frame, because you can see right through right now looking from the side, but we're on there. So I know it looks a little funny right now because it looks like, but this wheelbase is really close. It's within 2 inches from the K5 and the Chevy LUV short bed. So with a 44-inch tall tire, we're gonna have to trim the wheel openings a little bit, and we'll just trim that offset into it. So it'll be within 1 inch front to back on each wheel. So the wheel is turned down, which makes it look worse. I'm gonna try and get that straightened out and take some of the blocks out of that cab and get it sitting down as low as I can before we go any further, I believe. So that's roughly where I think the cab needs to be. We got the wheel straightened out. I think it might still be a tiny bit back, but there isn't much here. The only way we're going to tell, since I don't have the front fenders, is throw the bed up on there and just check. So, all right, so we're going to get our first impressions by these two and see if this is going to go over better than the Civic, or if we made a giant mistake. I think they're going to like it.
All right. Who knows? We'll judge.
All right, let's go see. All right, come on. What do you think?
Oh my god, I like that so much better.
You like that better?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
It doesn't, the Civic looked dumb.
The Civic looked dumb, huh?
It did.
So this is just the mock-up stage. It's going to sit a little bit lower on the frame, and of course we'll have a front clip on, and it needs to go forward a tiny bit. See how it's offsetting the wheel well? So we're close there though. That's going to look a lot better, right?
Yeah.
All right guys, I think we made the right choice. All right, so that's a first good mock-up. Obviously the bed and cab need to be leveled out a little bit better, but like I said, I do want to drop that cab. What's preventing me from doing that now is these little outriggers on there. I can't go any lower than they are now because the cab is sitting on it, but if I cut these off and move them back, actually forward slightly, it'll go right in that pocket right there, and I can actually use those 4 bolts to bolt that right in, and probably end up using that for our cage inside this thing. I did get a pipe bender, and we're gonna give that a shot with some fabrication. So as far as front to back, I think, yeah, I mean, obviously we still need to go forward a little bit, and we have a little bit more room up here by the engine. Not a ton, but we do still have probably 1.5 inches, and that if we take it up another inch, I think that's going to be pretty close, and we'll probably end up just kind of doing something, radiusing that wheel well a little bit more. The front on these Chevy LUVs are pretty, the back kind of follows that, but the front really rolls around. So again, I don't have the front fenders yet, but I will be picking them up soon, and I'm not going to finalize everything until we get a pair of front fenders hanging. But we did get our first impressions out of the way, and they were positive, so hope you guys like it. And I don't know, I'm much more excited about this than I ever was the Civic. I was able to sneak away with enough time. It was actually quite a bit of a road trip to pick up. Got a pair of fenders,